Hey everyone, today I am going to be sharing with you my experience navigating natural deodorants, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that has happened, what I recommend, what I definitely don't recommend, what has worked for me and hasn't, and how to just kind of go about this journey if you are just starting out too. Firstly, I want to explain kind of why I went into the natural deodorant market to begin with. Back in I always forget if it's 2017 or 2018. It's one of those years I started seeing a naturopathic doctor. And I've talked about this a couple other times in other videos and blog posts on my website. But long story short, that was a very pivotal point in my life that changed how I go about a lot of things, how I go about things I put on my body and in my body, like food and supplements and cleaning products and just all that stuff. It kind of changed my way of life and it has vastly improved my health. As I was doing this, the first process was going through and changing my diet, getting that under control, working from the inside out kind of thing with diet and supplements, as seen over by the naturopath. And then it was time to start talking about lifestyle and other products that can inevitably kind of be messing with your hormone levels and messing with just everything. So then we talked about like deodorants and shampoo and conditioner and lotion and cleaning products, a lot of things, just everything that you think of that you use. And for me personally, because I have pretty severe asthma, as I've dealt with in the past, as of late, it's pretty good because, again, I've worked on it. But my whole life, essentially, I've dealt with very bad asthma attacks and a lingering cough. And what we discovered was scents, especially artificial scents and fragrances, bother me. They just don't work for me. And honestly, for a lot of people probably, just because they are artificial, they're not meant to be inhaled. They're not really, like, your body doesn't process them well. So this included, like, I don't burn candles anymore. If you have been a longtime viewer of my channel, you have known that Bath and Body Works candles were my bae. Like, they were my thing. And a few years ago, I got rid of all my candles. The ones that I burned, I just gave away to friends. The new ones, I either sold them or gave them away. Now most things that I use are scent-free or fragrance-free. So I try to go towards the fragrance-free deodorants, shampoo, lotion, all of that kind of stuff. And then as far as cleaning products, I go for the more natural and naturally fragranced products with essential oils and things like that rather than artificial. So that's kind of the backstory of why I'm even in the natural deodorant market. In addition, yes, it has been shown that aluminum is not great to be putting under your arm all the time. It doesn't lead to really great things. So it just made a lot of sense. So the thing with natural deodorants is it's a very personal experience. So I'm going to tell you my experience, and I'm going to preface this by saying you may have a completely different experience. What works for me may not work for you and vice versa. So take it with a grain of salt. This is maybe some of your research, which is great. Maybe you're trying to find a common deodorant that works for most people. I know that's what I've done. I've watched a lot of videos and read a lot of articles myself. But just be prepared if you are just starting out on the natural deodorant journey. It may take you a while. It may take more time than you'd like. You may stink some days, and you may have to invest some money into finding the right one for you. Another thing I will tell you is with several of these deodorants, what I've had to do is put the deodorant on in the morning, wash my armpits about midday, and reapply deodorant and get through the rest of the day till when I shower. I shower at night. That's my preference. And so that's kind of what I've had to do a lot. You do have to clean your underarm a bit more because it does stink easier, and the stink and the smell comes from bacteria, which comes from the sweat. So you need to like take some soap and water and actually take like a wet washcloth and wipe under there and then reapply, which can be kind of frustrating if you're out and about, you have a busy day, and it's just frustrating because you're used to other deodorants just working and just lasting. Another thing is you probably will go through a detox period, where the first few weeks when you stop using, a regular deodorant and you go to natural deodorant, you might smell more. It might be a bit intense. So you may have to keep up with it even more at that point. But just know that that only lasts a few weeks, especially if you are eating a clean diet. There's obviously things that can kind of affect it there, but yeah, there's going to be a detox period. Now that all that information is out of the way, let's actually start talking about the 4 deodorants I have tried. The first deodorant I tried is the least expensive that I have personally purchased, as well as probably one of the most common because it's in a lot of grocery stores and it's easily accessible. This is the Tom's of Maine Natural Odor Protection Long-Lasting Deodorant, and it is unscented. Now, again, I personally try to get most of them unscented, specifically because that just works better for me. Now, I will say that maybe makes my journey a little more complicated because there is no scent masking anything going on. And I think a lot of us are used to deodorants with a little bit of scent just so it doesn't smell. So it's a journey. Now, this deodorant, they're all solid deodorants, by the way. I'm not into like the gel and all of that, but this is kind of a, how do I describe this? Lighter? Almost like gel, but it's not. Kind of deodorant. Now, my husband still uses this, and he has a lot more luck with it than I do. This was my first one, and I knew right away this was not kicking it for me. It just does not work for me. I was stinky. It just, no, didn't work. So, I quickly moved on from the Tom's of Maine deodorant, and I found Native. Native is getting very popular these days. It's now in Target, so it's more easily accessible. When I first got it, I think it wasn't, so I ordered it on its website. And there are different scents. Now, I will say with the Native, I didn't find an unscented, so I went with a scent that I would like, which is coconut and vanilla. What's cool is it has coconut oil and shea butter in here, so it kind of has that sweet smell to begin with. However, it does have fragrance listed, which means it probably is also artificial. So I don't love that aspect of it, but this is the only out of the 4 deodorants I've tried that was fragranced. I used Native for quite some time. And what I will tell you about Native is it first worked for me like magic. And again, I don't know if the scent kind of helped with that, but going from the Tom's to Native was like night and day. It worked really well. I didn't stink. It lasted throughout the whole day. I didn't have to reapply or clean as much. And it was great. By the way, the Tom's of Maine deodorant retails for about $6, and the Native deodorant is twice that at about $12. So the Native deodorant, by the way, has this kind of solid stick formula, okay? Pretty basic. The Native deodorant took a turn on me, I think about a year into using it. Like, I was using it for a while and I was really happy with it, especially through bridal season. I felt like I didn't stink. Even though I'm sweating, like I'm working with people's faces, I'm sweating because I'm working a lot. It's hot out. It's summer. I felt like it worked really well. And then it kind of just stopped. And I was so confused, and I kept trying to make it work, and I started cleaning my pits more, and I was like, what's going on here? And what's funny is I talked to my naturopath because she's the one who recommended Native. She said, it's funny you mention that because I've noticed that Native is not as great as it used to be for me either. So we are very confused, and we don't know if maybe there was a reformulation somewhere in there. This also happens to be around the time that they went into Target, I believe. So we're just a little skeptical about what happened there. I do still own it to this day, as you see, and I'll explain why later. But it's not my go-to. It's not my favorite. It doesn't work as well as it used to. And I've heard this in other reviews across YouTube and the internet that other people say native works amazing at first, and then I don't know if your body gets used to it or what happens, but it just kind of stops. And it's really disappointing because I like this one a lot. The price point wasn't absolute ridiculous. It's mostly natural, even though it has a bit of the artificial fragrance. It was light, it was nice. Just kind of disappointed. The next one I'm going to talk about is Lume. And Lume I do not have with me right now. I do not own it. So I'm going to have to put a little picture up and show you what it looks like. But this is also another unscented deodorant that I tried, and it retails for $14.99. So as you can see, every deodorant I've tried goes up in price. That's just the curve, and it's honestly the order I've tried them in, which I'll say is kind of disappointing that I keep having to spend more and more money to try and find a decent deodorant, especially not scented, and that I have to spend so much money on a deodorant. It's a little frustrating. But the Lume deodorant I actually got because I was working a wedding and someone was using it, one of the bridesmaids, and she swore by it. She up and down, she was like, this is the best. She was like, listen, I've been where you've been. The natural deodorants are really hard. This is it. And it's funny because just around this time when she, validated that and confirmed that for me, I was seeing all these Facebook ads everywhere. Lume, try Lume. Oh, it's great for everywhere on your body. Now, I will say I've never used it anywhere except my armpits, so I can't verify all of that information. However, I was so excited, and I had this deodorant up with high standards, right? Because I'm like, this is going to be the one. And again, it was for quite some time. I will say it felt just more intense. It felt like it worked longer. When I tell you that I would sometimes go a few days, like if I was just home, like I wasn't going anywhere for like 2 or 3 days in a row, and I would apply it, and even with showering, like I can't explain it. It just kind of lasted. And I think that's the whole idea, is it's supposed to be like a 72-hour odor control. And I swear that they meant it. Like it worked. So I was shocked. And now what I'll tell you is the difference with this deodorant is it twists up. So it's kind of like a little jelly that you twist up. Now, it says on the packaging you have to rub it under your arms with your hands. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to get my hands dirty to put deodorant on. I'm trying to get going here. So I would just like twist it up and then put it under my arms and then kind of like rub my armpits together and let it kind of set in for like a minute before putting a shirt on. And that seemed to do the trick. And I would only use a little at a time because when you twist it up, a lot comes out. I will say that the Lume did not last as long because I think of that formula, of the way it twists up and it kind of breaks down. Versus when you have like a stick, like the Native, you only use a little of this at once. Like it takes a while for this to run out. So it was more expensive and it didn't last as long, but it worked, right? So I was all excited. I'm like, this is the one. I finally found it. And then it did the same thing as the Native deodorant. I cannot explain it. I used it probably a year and a half. Again, it was a decent amount of time. I bought several of them, so I did refill. And I'm perplexed, guys. I have no idea why these deodorants work for a while and then stop. I'm not changing anything. I've come to a place where my diet is pretty standard. I don't crazily change my diet anymore. It's just kind of average. Like I'm excluding the foods I need to, and I am eating what I should and, some of what I shouldn't, and I'm human. But the diet isn't the issue. And then the supplements, sometimes I change, but I don't think they should change the fact that a deodorant just flat out doesn't work all of a sudden. So it's very odd. And it's not like my physical activity increased a crazy amount. It's not like the working is different. I don't know. I really don't know. And it's incredibly frustrating because, again, I'm spending all this money. I'm ordering directly from the website, so I'm paying for shipping too. And I just don't know why it works and then stops working. And it's the most frustrating thing ever. So that happened with Lume again. And now here I am at square one again. And I don't know what to do because this is the one that Facebook and clients and all these people swore up and down. So I was like, what the heck do I do now? I don't know, because this was supposed to be like the one. So then I had a friend of mine who got me into Primally Pure. She swears by their skincare. And although I haven't used many of their products, I knew they existed. And I was like, okay, Primally Pure. That sounds like a brand that would have an unscented natural deodorant. Let's take a look. And so they did. So the current deodorant I am trying and I am using every day is the Primally Pure Unscented Deodorant. Now, this is the 2.5 ounce. And all of these deodorants, by the way, are around there. Tom's was 2.25, Native was 2.65, and I'm not sure exactly how big the Lume was, but let me take a look real quick. 2.2. So we're in that 2 kind of family. So the Primally Pure is 2.5 ounces, and guess what, guys? She went up in price again. $20. $20 for this deodorant, and wait for it, because it's the only thing I ordered from the site directly, $25 because of shipping. To put this in perspective, I went from a person who used to coupon. I used to get deodorants basically for free. And then even when I wasn't doing that, a standard deodorant is maybe like, what, $3-4? I went from that to the cheapest natural being about $6, not bad, to now paying $25 for one standard sized deodorant. So at this point, I was getting frustrated, right? Because I'm like, how expensive can this get? And will it actually work, or am I flat out wasting my money? I will say there are some videos on YouTube of people who have tried literally a dozen different natural deodorants. I have a lot of respect for these people because I know how frustrating this is. I've only tried 4. And I'm done. Like, I just don't want to try anymore. But let me talk about Primally Pure. Now, this is another stick deodorant. It's in a circular kind of shape. But it's a regular just stick deodorant. Completely unscented, so I really like that. Lasts a decent amount of time, so all right, you can justify it by that. I like the packaging. Very simple. Sleek. Now, I'm kind of mixed on this one. It worked amazing again when I first got it. There's a theme here. Except the Tom's of Maine. That just did not work at all. And then now I've been using it for at least 6 months at this point. And it's working and not working. It's kind of like in this weird middle zone. I'm going to go into summer right now. I'm going to go into a crazy wedding season, and I'm going to really put it to the test. And this is actually the reason I still have the Native deodorant. So here's my plan, because I don't want to stink on wedding days. I'm tired of it. It's embarrassing. I am in front of these people's faces. I have no idea if they can smell me. And it's like this weird, like, I'm trying to do better for my body, but I also just don't want to be like unprofessional and awkward. So what I'm doing is, since it's kind of starting to be unreliable, I'm still using this every day as my main deodorant, and most days I get away with it. By the way, now I straight up apply it right after I get out of the shower at night, and that's what I rely on, because I find if I don't, I'll stink the next day. The native deodorant is there as my backup. So what I'm going to do is I'm either going to keep this on me like in my purse or in my kit in case I need to apply it in the bathroom like in between clients or something. Or what I'm going to do is this goes on at night, the night before. This goes on in the morning, okay, before I leave the house. So my thinking is not only do I have like a little extra protection with another layer of deodorant, but it does have that scent. I've come to the conclusion that trying to find fragrance-free natural deodorants definitely has made my life harder than if I could use fragrance and if I was prioritizing fragrance ones. So I will say that if you do not have a problem with fragrance or artificial fragrance, do that. That may make your life easier, is my honest feedback. Because yeah, this is just going to help, like it'll be another layer, but it also will kind of just mask it a little bit, you know? It's going to be hot. I'm going to be working for hours straight, and yeah. So that's it. That's my feedback. Can you guys feel the frustration through the screen? This is only four deodorants, and I'm just done. I don't want to try another one. I really don't. But in the same breath, if you guys have watched this whole video, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I hope it was helpful, because I know how annoying this journey is. Third of all, if you guys have gotten to this point, please, please, please comment down below. Help a girl out. Let me know if you've had success with other natural deodorants. Is there one I'm absolutely missing? Because I know they exist out there. I always forget like what their names are or where I can get them. Is there one I absolutely must try? Like, will change my life. Will probably work. Especially if it's unscented. You know? Through sweat. Through like actually living. You know? Like, we are people. We sweat. It's something that's weird to talk about for some reason, and it's voodoo. Not voodoo. It's taboo. It's taboo. And I don't know why. Like, we all do it. So, like, is there one that actually performs under pressure? We will say that. Because I'm willing to try it. But also, like, please tell me it's under the $20 mark, because I really don't want to spend more than I've spent on the Primally Pure on deodorant. Like, how expensive do they get at this point? That's what I want to know. I hope this was helpful for you, or you at least got a little laugh out of it. Entertainment, maybe. But yeah, I cannot wait to hear your recommendations. Please send them my way. I am open to them. Sell me on it. Let me know exactly why it's amazing, okay? Like, why has it worked for you? Have you been in my boat where you tried a half a dozen and you're just ready to give up? All that good stuff. In addition to that, subscribe down below if you haven't already. Click the bell notification so you get the notification that when I upload, and give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful and if you enjoyed it. And hey, I'm happy to have you here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Check the description as always for important links, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.